Hello, I welcome you to another training section with Olamap Design. My name is Amusan Olawale Abbas. Today, I will be teaching you the uses of Revit tools. The first tool we are going to be looking at is the Align tool. Looking at my cursor, this is my Align tool. Now, if you want to use this tool, all you need to do first is to click on the tool by left click. Then you pick on the wall or where you want to align your wall to first. Look at what I want to do. You click on the wall first. Then you click on the wall you want to align first. By clicking, let's assume I want to align this wall with this one. You click on this wall. Can you see? Can you see? Now, let's assume I'm still on the command now. Let's assume I want to align this particular wall to this wall. What you need to do is you click on this wall you want to align the wall to first. I want to align, don't do mistake. I want to align this wall to this wall. Now, what you need to do now is you click on where you want to align the wall to first. Now, I will click on the wall I'm aligning to first. I will click on it. Then I will now click the wall I want to align. Boom. Can you see? That is how Align tool work. The next tool we are going to be looking at is the Align Dimension tool. Align tool is different from Align Dimension tool. Looking at my cursor, this is Align tool, while this is Align Dimension tool. If I click on this drop down, you are going to see different types of Align Dimension tool we have. Then all you just need to do is to click on the drop down arrow. You can see we have Align Dimension, we have Linear Dimension, we have Angular Dimension, we have Radial Dimension. Most times I use Align Dimension tool, but I will be showing you how you can use your Angular Dimension, Radial Dimension as well. So for you to use Align Dimension tool, all you just need to do is you click on the Align Dimension. You dimension your space first. Let's see, let's assume I want to dimension this space. One thing you also need to note is that you check this your option bar. You can see where they write face of core. Click on the drop down. You can see we have wall center lines, wall faces, center of course, faces of course. Wherever you click or whatever you click here will determine where the software will allow you to click on your project. Now, I'm going to be using faces of core. As you are practicing, you can also check how the others to work. Now, I'm going to be using faces of core. This is one of my faces. We also have what we call center of core. If I should click center of core, it's going to be allowing me to click on the center. You can see the difference. But now, I'm going to be using faces of core. Now, I will click on the first face that I want to dimension. Then I will click on the second face. This is just like using your tape rule. You put the mouth of your tape rule at the first point. Then you measure to wherever you want to measure. But looking at these two, you can see after clicking the first face and the second face, the tool is still active and my dimension is still moving. All you need to do is you can click on empty space wherever you want your dimension to be. But since where I measured is this particular place and this is where I want to know the space dimension, all I just need to do is to click on the particular space, or let me say inside that particular space. Or let's assume you have a furniture chairs arranged here. You just have to look for a particular point whereby they can see your dimension properly. Then I will click on it. You can see my dimension has stand still. But currently, I'm still on the dimension command, on the align dimension command. To exit this command, what you need to do is either you press on escape button on your keyboard or you click on modify. You can see my cursor, you click on modify. Now I've clicked on modify to exit the command. Now this align dimension tool allow you to reduce your spacing with this tool. How can you do that? To do that now, you click, let's assume I want this wall to come to this side, which means if this wall is coming to this side, this spacing is going to reduce. What we have here now is 12,913 mm. Let's assume I want to reduce it to 5,000. All I need to do is I will click on the wall first. Then once I click on the wall, this dimension tool will allow me to change this dimension here. Then I will click on the dimension. Then I will type whatever distance I want to use. Let's assume I want to make the spacing to be 5,000. I will just type 5,000 on my keyboard. 5, 1, 2, 3. That is 5000. Then I will click enter on my keyboard. You can see the spacing has reduced. The spacing has reduced. Then you can just, because our wall is still highlighted, you can just click on empty space to exit the command. That is how align dimension to work. Now let's assume we have this wall stretching out here. How can we know this angle here? This angle here. Now clicking on this drop down arrow on this align dimension tool, I want to use the angular dimension, the angular dimension tool. Now I will click on the angular dimension. Now I will click on this first point because this is an angle. This is an angle. I will click on this first point. Let's click on the first point. Click on this second point. Sorry. Click on the first point. You can see we have the angle to be 90 degree. You can see we have it to be 90 degree. Let's see another example. Let's exit from this command first. Or no need. Let's assume we also want to know this angle. All we need to do is, since we are still on the command, we click on this point. We click on this point. You can see we also have 90 degree. Then don't forget, whenever you are using your align dimension tool, either radial, either diameter, either linear, after clicking on where you want to know the distance, you have to still click on the space. So that is how align dimension tool work. The next tool we are going to be looking at is the split element. Split element. Now this is the split element. If I click on this split element tool, this tool will allow me to split this wall into two. Now I can click this place. I can click this place. Then let me exit my command. I can decide to delete this wall. Can you see how split element tool work? Let's undo by pressing Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. I just want you to understand how the tool work. You click on your split element tool. You click on this wall, because let's assume this is where I want to split. You can click on this point again. Then by exiting the command, I can click on my modify. Now I've exited the command. I want to delete this one now. Then I can press delete on my keyboard. So pressing Ctrl Z again. Let's assume I want to use split elements with gap. Don't forget, this is the split element tool. Why this is called split with gap? I'll click on the tool. Note the difference. If you click on this wall now, let me exit this command. The reason why you are not seeing this gap here very well is because our wall is active not to be on ordinary thin line. If I should click on this thin line here, you can see that there is a gap between our wall. There is a gap between our wall. Let me use the tool again, split with gap. This is where I used it before. I'll click on another point. You can see the gap. You can see the gap. That is how split with gap work. Don't also forget, there is a way you can also use your split elements tool. If I click on this split element tool, look at my option bar here. You can see what we call delete inner segment. If I check this box, it means if I click on the wall where I want to split, it's going to automatically delete the inner segment. How did that work? You click on this wall, you click on any other point you want to split, and boom, automatically the inner segment is deleted. You can see, you can click on this point, click on this point, boom, the inner segment deleted. Now let's undo our command. Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. You can see we are back to where we are before. Now I want to exit this command too. I can press modify on my ribbon bar. The next tool we are going to be looking at is the create similar. How can we use create similar? Before you can use create similar, I want to create this type of wall with the same properties. What I just need to do is I will click on the wall first, or you highlight the wall first. You can see the wall is highlighted. This is create similar tool. This tool allow me to create a wall or an object like windows, door, wall, almost everything with the same property. Now, if I have highlighted the wall, if I click on the create similar tool, it's going to allow me to create exactly the same wall with the same property. Like this wall has 225 by 225, the same materials. It's going to allow me to do that. Now, I want to create the wall here. You can see. You can see. Boom. I've created the same similar of wall. I can decide to create that wall here. You can see. Then, because our chain is active, you can see from this option bar here is active. That is why it's like this. You can just create, you can exit by pressing escape or by clicking on your modify to exit the command. That is how create similar work. Let's assume I have a window. Let's go to window. We click on architecture tab. We click on window. Now our window is active. Let's just use any dimension. This is 406 by 610 mm window. Now I have this window here. You can see this sign. Let me escape my command here. You can see this is window. Now I want to create this window here. Instead of me going back to window, all I just need to do is to click on the object. Let me go to modify. I will click on the object, then I will hit create similar. Now the window is active. The window is active because I've clicked on create similar, which means I can now put this window or create window with that type of properties on this wall. You can see this is how create similar work. I want to exit this command by pressing my modify or clicking on my modify button or 2. Now I've exited this command. The next tool we are going to be looking at is the move tool. The move tool. Looking at my cursor, this is the move tool. How can we move an object in Revit? In the course of modeling, we always move things around. Now, by using this tool, I can decide to click on this tool first. I'll click on the tool. Let's save our project. It's always good you save your project as you are working. Now the command is active. I will click on the wall I want to move or any object I want to move. You can see I've clicked on the object, then I will right click and finish. You can see. Then I will drag. I can pick it from anywhere. I will drag. You can see. Now it allows me to enter a specific dimension. Let's assume I want to move this wall by 3000 or 1000. Now let me type 1000, then hit enter on your keyboard. I've moved this wall by 1000 mm. I've moved this wall by 1000 mm. Now I want to exit this command by clicking on modify. Another way I can also use this move tool is, don't forget, before I click on the tool, on the move tool, I click on the wall, but now I will click on the wall first, then I will click on the move tool. You can see. Then I will now click to move my wall or any object. You can see. I can decide to enter a distance, and if I think that the dimension is okay for me, I can just left click on my mouse. I've moved this object or wall. Another way you can also move an object in Revit is, I can click this wall and drag. Let's see how it works. I will click on the wall and I will drag. You see? By clicking on the wall and drag. Let's drag again. I will click on the wall and drag. Why is now going? We drag. You can see this has shown the command. If you look at the command, they are similar. Look at the command on my cursor. You can see that it's the same thing with the move to. You can see just that you can only be looking at the dimension that is bringing out. When you get to a specific dimension or your desired dimension, then you left click on your mouse. That is the other way you can use your move tool. I think I've teach you like 3 ways on how to move object or wall on Revit. The first one is by clicking on move tool first and click on the object or wall. The second one is by clicking on the wall first, then you click on the move tool. The third one is by clicking on the object and drag. That is that about move tool. The next tool we are going to be looking at is copy, the copy tool. Let's click on our thin line tool from the quick access toolbar so that you can be able to see what we are doing very well on the wall. I will click on this thin line, you can see, so that you can be able to see the wall very well. Now, how can we use copy tool? This is copy tool. The same way we use our move tool. I can hit on this copy tool first, then I will hit on the wall I want to copy, then I will hit enter on my keyboard. You can see that the command is active. Then I can pick from anywhere. I can pick from anywhere. Let's see. I'll pick it from here. I'll pick it from here. Then I can decide to drop it here. You can see, sorry. Let's exit this command. You see how we use our copy tool. Let's use it again. You hit on copy. You hit on the object you want to copy. Let's assume I want to copy this. Then you hit on enter. Then you copy the object. I can decide to pick it from here. I can decide to pick it from here. Let me drop it here. You can see. Now I want to exit this command by clicking on modify. Another way you can copy now is by clicking on your control button on your keyboard and drag. You press your control, you click the object, you can see. With that, Revit allow me to copy. Let's assume I want to drop it here. You can see this particular object still remain there. Then this is the new one I just copy. You can see. Let's exit this command. You click on the object, press your control, you drag. You can see, then you drop. That is copy for you. Another way you can use your copy tool is that look at the spacing, or let me say the distance between this wall and this wall. Let's assume I want to copy and I want this distance also where I want to copy this wall to. All I need to do now is you hit on your copy tool, you hit on the wall you want to copy. Sorry, let's exit the command. You hit on the wall, you hit on your copy tool. Now I want to pick. If I want to pick it now, I will pick it from this point. the distance from this wall to this wall now is 4,000, but I also want the distance of this 4,000 to be here, to be between this wall and this wall. All I will do is I will pick it from here. Now, then I will drop it here. You can see. So in order to confirm that now, I would now use the dimension tool, align dimension tool, to check the distance if they are the same thing. Align dimension. Let's see. You click on the first face. You click on the second face. You can see that we have the same distance of 4,000. We have the same distance. I hope you understand me very well. As time goes on, I'm very sure you are going to understand how to use all these tools very well. They are very, very important as far as your modeling is concerned. I want to exit this command. I'll click on modify, or let's just assume I don't feel like using my modify, or I feel like the modify distance is too long for me. All I just need to do is you press your escape button on your keyboard. You can see the command is no longer active. Another tool I'm going to be discussing now is trim/extend. Trim/extend. We have three different types of trim/extend tool here, and I'm going to be explaining how you can use the three tools. This is used whenever you want to trim or extend at an angle. Now, this is an angle. Let's assume I want to trim this particular wall. I would like to use this one. This one is used wherever you also have a single element. Wherever you have a single element. Why this one is used whenever you have a multiple element. Whenever you have a multiple element. Now let's use this one. How does this first one work? I click on the tool. Then I want to trim this wall. I'll click on this point. I'll click on this point. Boom. You can see. You can see. Now Revit allows you to trim or extend using just one type of tool. You can trim and you can extend using just one tool. Or let me re-explain the trim/extend back so that you won't get confused, because at times the three tools can make you confused, but once you master the step, you will understand it better. Now, let me click on my modify. The first tool, the first trim/extend, I said it's always good to use this particular tool whenever you are at the corner like this. Now I want to trim this particular wall. All I need to do is I'll click on this first point, I'll click on this second point. You can see that is the first one. Now let's drag this wall back. Let's exit the command. Let's drag the wall. Now let's use the second command. This is the second command. Don't forget, I also tell you that this is also used for a single element. Now I click on the first point, I click on the second point. You can see it's also used for a single element. What if I want to use the third trim/extend for multiple trimming or extending? Now, using the multiple trim/extend, this particular tools, you click on the tools, but before that, let's assume this wall, this particular wall here now, let's copy it, or let's extend it first. Let's extend it. Now let's copy it. Don't forget, let me use Control and drag. 1, 2, 3. So let's assume this particular one now is getting to this point. For instance, let's copy another one. Let me copy this one to be here. Control and drag. Let me shift this one a little bit. Control and drag down. I hope you are getting what I'm doing. So let's assume, let me increase the spacing of this page so that you can be able to see what I'm doing very well. Control and drag a bit. Sorry, I've copied it. Let me delete this one. Now let's assume this one is extending. Sorry, let's cancel. Let's assume this one is extending to this side. Yeah. What else? I think I'm okay with this. Now let's assume I want to use. Okay, I think I'm okay with this now. Let's assume I want to use the trim/extend multiple element. I'll click on the tool. Now I will click on this first point and click on the second point. Sorry, click on the first point, click on the second point. Why is it not working? Click on the first point, click on the second point. You can see, I think my mouse is the one doing is malfunctioning. Now let's Ctrl Z again. Click on the first point, click on the second point. You can see that is how it works. Now with this multiple, I can cut as many as possible because I've cut this place. Now I want to cut this place. All you just need to do is you click on this. Sorry, you click on this. Escape. Let me click on my command. Sorry, let's repeat the command. My mouse is malfunctioning. Let's repeat it again. We click on the first point, click on the second point. You can see. Now, with this, I can extend or cut multiple points. Now, if I click on this point, you see, you can see that is that on trim/extend multiple. Now let's delete. Okay, sorry, before that I would like to also show you some things. Let me click on the trim/extend multiple back. So let's assume this particular one is stopping somewhere here. Let me exit this command. Let's assume this one is stopping here. Let's stretch the wall out. Let's assume it's stopping here. And let's assume this one is also stopping here, for instance. And I want to use the trim/extend command. Now I will go to my command bar, the trim/extend multiple. By extending this wall now, all I need to do is I'll click on where I want the wall to go first. Then I'll click the wall. I don't know what is wrong with my mouse. I'll click the wall first, then I'll click on the wall. Can you see? Let's Ctrl Z. I will click where I want it to go first, then I will click the wall I want to extend. What if I also want this particular wall to extend to this side? What I'm going to do now is I will click where I want it to go first, the particular where I want it to go and meet. I'll click it, then I'll click the wall I want to extend. You can see that is how trim/extend work. The next tool we are going to be looking at, let's exit out this trim/extend command. Let's delete some of this wall. Hit delete on your keyboard. I can also choose to delete this one. Now let's look at mirror. We have two types of mirror. We have two types of mirror command. Let's assume, let me go to my modify tab. I'm on my modify tab. Let me go to my architecture tab. Architecture. Let me create similar. Now I want to use my line. So let's assume I have something like triangle. Let's assume I have something like triangle. Yes. Or yes, let's use triangle. Now I want to mirror this now by clicking on my modify tab. Using this mirror, we have two types of mirror. The first one is peak axis. And the second one is draw axis. So if I want to use this now, let me highlight this, and I will hit my draw axis. Then I will draw an axis. Let me draw an axis. You can see this is mirror by drawing an axis. If I should use this draw axis again, I will hit on this mirror by draw axis. You can see I will highlight first, enter, then I will draw an axis. You can see that is for mirror by drawing axis. Now let me delete this. What if I want to use mirror by picking axis? I will highlight this. Let me highlight my wall. Highlight. Something is wrong with my mouse. I want to pick axis. Now let me use this wall axis here. I will pick the axis. You can see. Because I pick this axis here, it's going to mirror to the other side. So let me delete this. Let me delete this triangle. So now let's assume we have an existing axis. Let's assume we have an existing axis. Now I want to draw an axis. Can use, assume we have an axis. Now I want to pick this axis. I'll click on mirror by pick axis. I highlight what I want to mirror. I hit my enter, then I'll pick this axis. That is how mirror by picking axis work. The next tool we are going to be looking at is offset. Now, this is our offset tool. Let me click on this tool. Now, looking at this option bar, you can see some option there. Now, let's assume I want to offset this wall. I want to offset this wall, or let me say object. You can offset wall or lines majorly. Let's assume I want to use this offset to offset this wall by 2000, or let me say 1500. Now, by using offset, wherever you see this particular dash line, that is where you are offsetting to. I can place it to this side. It means I'm offsetting to the left hand side. If I place it to this edge, it means I'm offsetting to the right hand side. If I should click, you can see I can continue offsetting. Can you see? Now, what if I want to offset to the left hand side? You can see. Now, let me show you something. I want to exit this command. Let's take our align dimension tool. Look at the distance. 1275. Now, this is what I want to show you. Let me click on my modify tool. I want to click on offset. You can see that when I wrote 1500 here, the distance we have here is 1275. Meaning we are shorting what? We are shorting 225. The reason why that happens is because the offset dimension we put is exactly 1500. So what are we going to do now to make it exactly 225 is to add 225 to this 1500. By adding 225 to this 1500, we are going to have 1500 plus 225 is going to be 1725. Now, let's type 1725 here, 725, and offset again. Let me offset. Now, let's try to measure. Let's save our project. Now, let's measure and see what we are going to have. You can see, now we have 1500. Now, another ways to offset is that, let me click on my offset tool. You can see that I want to offset, but I don't want it to copy. From this option toolbar, you can see that the copy box is checked. I want to offset this wall by 1500, but I don't want a copy of it. All I need to do is to uncheck this copy, then I'll offset. Look at what is going to happen from this wall. I'll offset this particular wall. You can see we don't have a copy. The wall only shifts from where it was to another point. So that is offset. Another way you can also use offset now is to use another different way of copy offset is, you can see from our option toolbar we have this to be numerical. Now what if I want to use a graphical offset? Let's check this graphical. Now I want to offset this. If I click on this wall, I want it to be copy. Now I click offset. You can see that the difference between this is that I did not, from this my offset distance here, I did not specify any dimension. Now what the graphical or how the graphical work is that it's going to bring out a dimension for you. Now I can decide to insert a distance by myself. Let me say that I want to offset it by 2600. I will hit enter. Can you see? I will hit enter. Let's do that again. I will click offset. Click offset. You can see by 4000. Enter. That is that about offset. That is that about offset. I hope you are enjoying this class. If you are enjoying this class and you still want to get more, please ensure to subscribe to my channel. Let's exit from this command. Another tool we are going to be looking at is rotate. 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 This is our rotate tool. Let's assume I want to rotate this wall, this straight wall. I hit on my rotate. I highlight the wall. I right click. I finish selection. Now, I can decide to specify an angle, and I can decide to have a copy, but let's assume the way it is now, I want to rotate. Let's see, I click on it, then I will move it. You can see the angle. You can see the angle. Look at the way it's rotating. Can you see? Currently is on 90 degree. I can left click. Can you see? I've rotated this wall. I've rotated this wall. What if I want to rotate and I don't want to have, and I want to have a copy? Now I will hit on my rotate tool. I want to have a copy. Select it to have a copy. Then I will rotate it from here. Then I will rotate it to another angle. Can you see another 90 degree? I will left click. Because I've checked the copy tab from the option bar, that is why I'm having another object of this wall, the similar object, to copy to be on a vertical line. Thank you very much. See you in my next class.